viewed as the protectors of their families. But now it's a different story. Men are no longer protecting their families. They are part of inciting this gender-based violence. So we must go back to basics.
We are too much patriarchal, Our women are downtrodden.
Whatever we see on the television about the gender-based violence, we feel ashamed as men.
We know all the abuse and all the senseless killings of children in the district is done by men. I want all men to be a changed man, to champion change, to ensure that men unite and fight for the rights of the child and the right of the woman. That's why I'm here today.
As young adults, we entered in the situation of not getting the guidance from the elders. So we want the elders to give us the way forward.
This kind of situation, I like it because the men must have opportunity to isolate themselves from their women, where they can sit together as a man to talk issues as a man.
We are here for build men, and man must love his wife and his children, and man must build his family.
This forum will help me to make those offenders, to reintegrate them properly as good citizens, so they are no longer going to abuse women and children, because I'll be here learning from this forum, and then I'm going to transfer the knowledge to them.
No Excuse is a Carling Black Label initiative, and really it was all about delinking the abuse of alcohol and the abuse of women. So these champ camps, we call them the champ camps because we take 100 men at a time into the wilderness, out of the comforts of their homes and their communities, and we use what we call experiential, adventure-based education. So what happens is Outward Bound, they're highly skilled in producing outdoor activities, wilderness activities, and we use those activities to get men to expand their hearts and their minds and their souls, and to debrief those activities around what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean not to abuse? And what does it mean to true masculinity?
When it comes to the collaboration of Outward Bound and Father and Nation, it works very nicely. For Outward Bound, we give them like problem-solving activities, which at the end of the day, they think about, okay, how can they relate that back into their lives? How can they solve their problems without using violence?
One of the sessions they have is with us, myself and the partner Robert Nohamba, where we just talk to them about what it means to be a man. And we give them an opportunity to share their stories. And often it's the very first time they've ever done that. And men open up, and there's a lot of tears and a lot of healing.
The main focus of a camp like this is for people to get in touch with themselves, to know the things that drives them as men and the things that drive men to behave in ways they behave. And so when we take them to a workshop like this, we take them on a journey. First, we get them to talk about what is their understanding of what's causing the violence that is happening in our country, especially by males.
The level of high violence activities, domestic violence, it happens because we as men, we are failing to speak to others about the problems that we are facing. We internalize things, we bottle our problems, and gradually, when they go out, it does not sit well, because we end up hating the ones that we love.
They give us all the excuses men give for being violent.
As men, we have so many problems and many challenges in life. Some of us, we are scared, or we are not open enough to share our problems with people or anyone in our environment. So I've learned that it's very important to share your problems and difficulties in life with people.
It's a good experience for men to come together and share their experiences, their daily life situations, their background, their family secrets, and the way they have grown up. I really learned a lot.
We need to speak up as men. This thing of being traditional to say a man needs to keep things to himself and be a man and cry inside doesn't work.
It's great to see a lot of men trying to get help, and also acknowledging about themselves. They've done a lot of things to people, so that acknowledging that you are wrong, that's how you start to change yourself.
to see men taking charge and not just blaming the environment, blaming everything else. Because as long as they're doing that, they're finding good excuses that makes them want to stay and remain abusers. But now when they realize, get to a place where they say, there's no excuse for me to continue like this, and they have a band of brothers around them who are committing to hold them accountable.
I learned that as a man, you must take responsibility of whatever is happening in your life. So when we come together as men, where we can change our behaviors, be the good fathers, be the good mentors, be the good role models to our young ones.
So we teach men to say there is absolutely no excuse for being violent, no excuse for being abusive, no excuse. These things will always happen to you, but you are responsible for your own behavior.
With regard to gender-based violence, we say no excuse with that. It has to come to an end in our world.
And then from that we say, okay, well, what does it mean to be a man? Because a lot of boys are growing up without a dad and without elders in the village to teach them what it means to be a man.
We are losing men. Those young kids and those men who are staying on the street, those are the legends that we need in the future. And if we don't save them, we are losing them.
I have absorbed much of wisdom from the elders that we found here and those that we came with. So I think I will have a different paradigm when I encounter others.
I think it has taught us a lot as men to use our strength to protect families, kids, and the community as a whole.
I've also learned how to work with other men. We need to trust each other. We need to share. The reason why we are not sharing certain ideas is because you find that you're not trusting your brother. You're not trusting the man next to you.
During the course, we can see that there is a change in the men when they come in, and then they feel very empowered by the time that they leave. They can change their lives back at home and deal with situations in different ways.
As a reintegration officer, I think I'm well equipped now to help them solve their problems.
It changed my life because to sit with men around, whereby you hear their stories, whereby you hear that you are not the only one who's having the problem about this gender-based violence.
We must be men enough, and when we go back home, we must do things differently and see the world in a different angle.
We need men to save our women, not men to abuse our women.
The time is now for us as young men to take action. If you don't do it, nobody will do for us. So I'm saying hashtag no excuses anymore. This is the right time for us as young men to help each other.
I'd like to thank Father Nation and Adult Band for giving me this opportunity to change other people's life.
Even me as an instructor, I learn a lot because we learn from each other. Gradually, then we'll change the world, one man at a time.
So the message we give to men, and this is a message that should carry across South Africa, is that true masculinity is a wonderful gift to humanity. And that you as a man are a gift to humanity, but you can also be a curse. And the choice is up. And we say to the men that, as men, our mandate is to stand here in the present place and say, whatever bad has gone behind me, it's not going to go in front of me. I'm going to break the cycle and stop.
So today, I pledge not to be a bystander, not to be a bystander, always take action, against gender-based violence, always